Hey you guys, welcome to another night of porch pickings with Towel Lit. Y'all know I do my porch pickings. I like to be on my porch. Y'all, if I feel that there's any interruptions from like the cars that are going to be passing by, I'm going to stop my commentary and then I'm going to restart after the car has passed, because I know a lot of you guys have been complaining about the noise or whatever, and I do apologize about that. However, it just wouldn't be porch pickings to me if I'm not on the porch. You guys, tonight, my porch pickings is going to start with cars are passing. Alexis McCullum of Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys, Alexis is the daughter of Chris Fletcher. They are new castmates on Love and Marriage Huntsville. You guys, just let's it took me a while to want to even talk about this. Like, believe it or not, I did a video about 2 weeks ago about it, but I never uploaded it. Okay, so but tonight I kind of feel the need to pick at it. Like, I want to pick at it, you know what I'm saying? So tonight, on the first step, come on up, Lexi, I believe her last name is McCullum. I'm not absolutely sure. You guys drop down in the comments if I'm wrong in any way, because I don't want to mess up her name or whatever. Beautiful young lady. But there are some issues, right? Okay, I might have addressed the episode that she was actually on, the one episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville that she was on with the Fletchers when they had all their children at dinner. Now let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think it's 4 kids all together. Lexi and Lance are the 2 outside of Chris and LunellFletcher. They, and Kiki, I think she's the niece of LunellFletcher, but Nell looks at her as one of the kids as well. Now, you guys, I'm about to put my phone down so that I can get into my commentary. But y'all, thank y'all for coming in tonight. Well, here we go. Give me a second. Let me set up. Anyway, you guys, y'all listen to my voice. Y'all don't have to see any visuals or whatever. I'm hoping you guys are not whatever. Okay, like I said, first up, Lexi. Lexi is Chris Fletcher's daughter from a previous marriage from Love and Marriage Huntsville, and the stepdaughter of LunellFletcher of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Now, you guys, I watched her interview that she did with oh my goodness, you guys, T-Talk, or I don't know exactly his name, you guys, but I did watch the interview that he did with her, and it was a good interview. Kudos to him for having this interview with Lexi or whatever. Now, you guys, I gotta be honest with you, I'm kind of in 2 minds about the interview. I'm in 2 minds about the interview. Lexi is a 32-year-old woman with kids and a husband of her own, right? Let's keep in mind, this is the first time we ever heard about Lexi was on Love and Marriage Huntsville at the sit-down. This is the first time we even heard about the Fletchers and any of their children was on Love and Marriage Huntsville. And to see her now come out with the whole interview, I don't know. I just kind of felt like, well, okay, I kind of understand where this came from, but to do an interview so quickly behind it, I don't know. So you guys, let's start at the beginning. Let's start at how she came about, how we knew that Chris had an outside child, just as well as Lunell, she has an outside child, Lance. Both of them they're both in their 30s, right? They're fully grown adults, right? We got to go back to the episode. We got to go back to the episode where they had the dinner at the Fletcher's house and all the children were there. We had the two kids, Chris and Kayla, who actually have the same parents, Chris and LunellFletcher. And then we had Kiki, who I believe is a niece of LunellFletcher. And then of course we have Lance, who is Lunell's son outside of the relationship, and then of course Lexi outside of the relationship that Chris has with his wife Lunell. I hope I make sense, y'all. I hope I'm not rambling, but I just want you guys to be honest so you can understand where all this is coming from. Now, when I saw the episode and I saw that they were having a whole sit down with the family, I was here for it. I was like, finally, we get some real life stuff, right? Because all these kids are grown. These are grown adult children that Chris and LunellFletcher have together. They're all grown. So I'm not even going to go all back through the episode or whatever, but let's just get to the point where Lunell is talking to Chris Jr. Chris Jr., apparently he had gotten arrested, unfortunately, and Chris and LunellFletcher, they had to actually go not only get him out of jail, but also recover his dogs and get them medical assistance. And that was a pretty hefty bill as well. So altogether, for them getting him out of jail, and I don't want to make that a important issue. I think it's important to say because of how my commentary is going to go. I think they probably paid almost $10,000, just for Chris Jr. and his dogs or whatever. So while Lunell was having a discussion with Chris Jr. about, you owe me money for this, you owe me money for that, and when it was said that, we had to pay to get you out of jail, Lexi was floored. Lexi, Chris Fletcher's daughter, she was floored. She was like, what? CJ, Chris Jr., you were in jail? And Lunell, from what we saw, and you can blame things on production all we want, but it came out how it came out. Lunell flipped out on Lexi and told Lexi to shut the hell up. That's how it started, but let me take y'all through how it ended. Lexi was like, what? Shut the hell up. Da, 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 da. Things got chaotic from what we saw on the show. Next thing we know, Lexi and her husband, they were leaving. Chris went out there to try to talk to his daughter. She said that she will burn this motherfucker down. Y'all tried her, and she's off. And Chris was like, well, get the hell on. Move on. Okay, you guys, so far, what we see, or what I have been seeing on social media, it was a whole lot, it was more build-up today, right? It was a lot of build-up. And Lexi, like I said, I listened to her interview. Okay. It was a lot of build-up to the interview. Lexi went into saying how she was there prior with Lunell, and Lunell had her in her closet showing her all her Chanel purses and all her Chanel things or whatever. And Lexi goes into saying that her middle name is Chanel, and she felt like Lunell was like, well, Chris buys me Chanel, but you would probably never get this from Chris. That was her perspective. I don't know.
if I have to give my own opinion, I'm like, well, why would she show her closet? Like, I don't know. That does kind of come off as a little weird. Lunell is grown, a fully grown woman that has, from what Alexa says, hardly to any relationship with her. So why would Lunell be showing off any of her things in her private closet? I don't know. That's just me. So you guys, let me get into my thoughts. And you guys, I gotta admit, I'm in two minds about this. I'm in two minds about it. But first, I'm going to start off with what Lexi said in her interview with Thomas, or with the young man that she had the interview with. I mean, no disrespect, sugar. I just can't remember. Charge it to my mind, not my heart. Okay. You guys, I'm not going to go bit by bit with the interview, but a lot of the things that Lexi did say, it made me question, right? Lexi is a 32-year-old grown woman with a husband. Lexi's mother got married or remarried when I think she said she was 5, still fairly young. So she grew up in a 2-parent household. She might have missed a few years here and there, but she grew up in a 2-parent household. And she has siblings from that 2-parent household, right? She has siblings, she has half, and I don't like using the word half, but you know, since I'm on social media, gotta call a thing a thing. She has half siblings on her mother's side, and she has half siblings on her father's side, right? The title of my video is Mama's Baby, Daddy's Maybee. Here's why. Okay. Lexi said that, you know, all the other kids got cars, and all the other kids got, what's the little handheld game? Is it PS? Handheld games back in the day. I remember because I bought my kid one back in the day. I can't remember because I don't care about that, right? But it mattered to her. It mattered to her, and she said every time that she was like, well, how come they got this and I didn't get this? And they was like, well, talk to your mother. We pay child support. We pay child support. We pay child support. Or whatever, from what Lexi is saying, or whatever. Lexi also said that, you know, she's been going through a therapist since she's been 14 years old. Okay. You guys, I am definitely not the one to challenge or question anybody's mental stability. However, I am here to call a thing a thing. Lexi said in the interview, and you guys can go back and watch it, I think her name is Lexi or Alexis McCullum. She said she didn't have a whole lot of time that she spent with the Fletchers. But a lot of what she said seems like she must have had a lot of time spent with the Fletchers. Because I can't necessarily remember what the hell happened to me at 5 years old. 5 years to back. Let's backtrack to 1 year old. I can't really necessarily say I can recall that. Some people can. I just cannot. Only thing I can remember is going forward and how someone made me feel when I was at the age of remembrance. And granted, sometimes, a lot of times, you know, or even just sometimes, kids can go through things at a traumatic age, and it does affect them in their adulthood. I'm not taking that away. But it seems like Lexi seems to remember a whole lot to say that she has not spent a whole lot of time with the Fletchers. And I'm going to just say it. It seems like whatever the Fletchers did, Lexi had a problem with it. She had a problem with it. She didn't like it. It didn't benefit her. And granted, she has a right to feel that way because Chris Fletcher is definitely her father because, like she says, she has his face. And she says that she doesn't want anything to do with the Fletchers. And they better not, this is her words, not mine, bring her up in future episodes of this show because she says that they are materialistic, they want the fame, blah blah blah. And she, you know, when she said it, she kind of made it seem like it was like a really bad thing. I don't think it's a really bad thing because there's people out here who wants that. They want that. They thrive for that. Like they're trying to get to the next plateau. Me personally, I don't necessarily want the fame. I don't. But in my opinion, I felt like her saying that was her taking digs. Her taking digs and just making it seem like the Fletchers are just these terrible ass, money hungry, stardom, egotistical ass people. That's her opinion. What I also noticed is that when her mom comes on, and her mom is speaking of her relationship with Chris Fletcher, her marriage with Chris Fletcher, and even the conversation that she had with LunellFletcher. She doesn't come off as bitter. She doesn't come off as bitter. In my opinion, she comes off as, I just want my daughter to get over this. You know, I kind of want her to get over this. And you guys, everything that I say in my video is my very own opinion, and it is alleged from the beginning to the end. Y'all can tussle with me in the comments if you want to. That's fine. We'll handle it in the comments, but this is just my own opinion. Her mom doesn't come off as bitter. Her mom says her piece. Her mom says that, you know, yeah, she and Lunnell, they actually met up. She let Lunnell know that Chris was very much so married to her. And Lunnell was like, well, I don't want no parts of that, because Lunnell was like, I feel like I'm being, you know, targeted too, or I'm, you know, whatever. But Lunnell ended up with Chris Fletcher. Now, granted, Lexi did say when she found out that they were going to be on a reality show, she said that she's afraid for them, she's scared for them. But in my opinion, how are you afraid or scared for them about skeletons coming out the closet, about Chris Fletcher having premarital relationships with women, and even some younger women for him. I think, in my opinion, I think Lexi intended to come out. Y'all beat me up if you want to in the comments. Kind of seemed like Lexi came out, guns are blazing, or I'm going to destroy him. Now, when I say this, you guys, I'm not saying Chris Fletcher or LunellFletcher are innocent in any way, because like I said, I'm in two minds about this. Because I like to analyze a situation from all points, from all perspectives. And Lexi, she made the comment, she said that they better not bring her name up or whatever, if they know what's good for them. But my thing is this right here, Lexi, and I'm gonna call a thing a thing, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. If you wanted whatever happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville, the show, that particular episode, if you wanted that to be the last thing that happened between you and the Fletchers, then you wouldn't have went out and done another interview. You just wouldn't have done it. If you were completely, wholeheartedly, and 100% and adamant about not wanting anything to do with the Fletchers, but you did an interview. You did an interview, and then you threatened to say they better not come after you after this. But, sweetheart, young lady, you don't get to decide that. because you did an interview that they didn't do. You first did an interview, and you pretty much dogged them out. Let's call it what it is. You dogged the Fletchers out and made it seem like the Fletchers ain't shit. The Fletchers only want money. The Fletchers only want fame. The Fletchers only want this. Lunell made sure that you did not have any contact with your dad. And I'm going to speak on that. I'm going to speak on that because two things can be true at the same time. But you put this out here. So now, if the Fletchers, Chris and Lunell, and even your siblings come out to discredit you as the way that you discredited them, I mean, it's all fair game. It's all fair game. It would be all fair game. Because you can't hit someone and then tell them how to hit you back. You can't do that, sweetie. You cannot. And again, I don't know. I don't know if Lexi was subjected to negative conversations about her dad when her mom and her dad was going through the thing that they were going through. I don't know if Lexi was subjected to that. Kind of seems like it was. Because like Lexi and her mom said that her mom got remarried when she was 5 years old and they have siblings. She comes from a two-parent household. She comes from an educated household who were who were very adamant about education. She considers her stepdad her father. If that is the case, then why, sweetie, are you bitter? Why are you bitter? And now, granted, Chris Fletcher, you might not have had, from what you say, the best relationship or any much communication with him. He called you and let you know we're going to film the show. It's been a great time for you to talk about the business you and your husband have. And you was like, oh, okay, let's go. And you came all the way from Tennessee to sit at that table. You did.